failed! You have failed!
Spare me. Join me. Wield me. Become absolute!
Now, kill it!
My master. I must obey. I must end.
Hopes, nightmares, and the screams of legions upon legions of unborn illithids. The pain rips through you, obliterating all thought, all feeling. Silence. For the first time in a long time, your thoughts are entirely your own. And then, gravity.
I think I just beat Baldur's Gate 3. Yeah.
Everything you did, everything you sacrificed, it was worth it. For this.
Hells. I'm lucky I learned to swim when I did. We did it. The nether brain is dead. I can't feel the tadpole. They must have all died with the brain. That means I can't turn into a mind flayer. Not that there's necessarily anything wrong with being a mind flayer, of course.
Alright, I'm sorry about that. I went to the bathroom. Alright.
Before we met, some hailed me as a savior, some as a legend. But now, I've seen the face of true heroism. Yours.
A reprieve from the Githyanki invasion. For this day at least. But what about you, Lae'zel? What will you do?
The Netherbrain is dead. To slay a Geich was my sworn duty. I must call out to Tunorath. My ascension's at hand. We have thwarted the grand design. My loyalty is beyond question. Silence now. I will speak the rite of ascension. Vlakith Barnasin. Vlakith Ixaith. Vlakith Trinasaji.
You quiver in spite of yourself. Lae'zel shouts to the astral plane, seeking an answer. And before long, she has one.
A red dragon to carry me to Tunorath. The Queen's covenant is fulfilled.
You look on as Lae'zel soars to an uncertain fate. With the Githyanki gone, there's nothing left but the silence of the city, smoldering, waiting to be rebuilt. You are a mind flayer, the very thing you sought to eradicate. Whatever self you possess is quickly ebbing away. Your friends and enemies alike are ripe for manipulation. And if not manipulation, then consumption. Soon you will not be able to trust yourself at all. You will be a monstrosity beyond redemption. Or not. Perhaps you are unique among illithid kind. Perhaps you will retain enough of who you are to resist your nature. A rogue mind flayer. Like the Emperor, the risk is certainly yours to take. Will you? Your fate will be what you make of it. Now you are your own master, but it seems that Gale's mind is elsewhere.
The crown. It's somewhere in the Giontha. If I salvage the stones, I could retrieve it. Perhaps even wield it. With the crown in my hands, I would be unstoppable. I would be more than the greatest wizard who ever lived. I would be a god.
This guy needs to die.
Why should I? Mystra has dictated the terms of my potential for long enough. The crown would grant me control of my own destiny at last. Think of all I could achieve. All that I could grant to those whose ambitions are restrained by Mystra's yoke. I could raise a new Netheril, right here in Faerun. I thought you were wise enough to recognize that I am not the man I once was. It seems that we've come to an impasse.
I didn't even use this guy
I
at all.
stand on the threshold of divine ascension, and you would try to keep me grounded. It's not your fault. I can hardly expect you to understand. But nor will I relinquish this chance because you're unwilling to imagine a world where I succeed. Ah, I will never forget you. That much I promise. And if one day you feel differently, I will be honored to have you as my chosen.
I think he needs to die.
Farewell, Gale. I hope he still remembers us little people once he's secured godhood. Though he may have to contend with Mystra before that's a foregone conclusion. As for us, well, the future awaits.
Uh-oh.
Right. I suppose there is more work to do now. What first?
It's true. Whatever benefits one Illithid could bring will only be double when there are two.
Were it any other mind flayer, I would put an end to this right now. But I suppose you have earned the benefit of the doubt.
Their concerns are so trifling, are they not? Look at you. You're glorious. The greatest ally I could have wished for. You know, this partnership doesn't have to end here. You and I could do wonderful things. We could rebuild the Knights of the Shield and run it together. What do you say?
Oh man, I have to. Hold on for a second. I have to save the game. Hold on, I gotta do it. I'm going for it. I'm going for it. Hopefully it's saved.
Chewy, cerebral, and delicious. Never in your life have you tasted something so delightful. It's not as if you're doing anything wrong. Just following nature's plan. It's over. And it's all because of you. You, who were destined to become a thrall. Thanks to you, there will be no Illithid empire, no death god's tyranny. You have earned your place amongst the legends of the Sword Coast. You are the saviors of Baldur's Gate.
Last night was an experience. But I don't think you've changed quite as much as some might think. I'd recognize that vigor anywhere. It sounds like the city's trying to get back on its feet already. Normal life is returning. Which means things are about to become decidedly more difficult for you. Perhaps you could wear a mask. Say you're a leper, or have taken religious vows to conceal your face.
Wow.
No. And I wouldn't ask you to, in truth.
Saying I'm
You're
ugly.
living proof of the sacrifice you made. But I fear others may not see it that way. After what this city's been through, people will scarcely tolerate cuttlefish at the fishmonger's stall, never mind a full-blown mind flayer in their midst. Do you know what this means? By rights, yes. Unfortunately, though, people's fears and hatreds are not so logical. They'd cheer as they burned their savior on a pyre. I won't stand by and let that happen. All those people you saved. Most of them will never know what you did. But you know. And so do I. I'll never forget. I need to get you out of here. It was difficult enough smuggling you in here covered in cloaks. It'll only get worse as normalcy returns. We have. And our luck held, despite everything. But we can't rely on that forever. I won't roll the dice day after day if your life is on the line. I can't. I'm sorry. We may have saved the world, but I have unfinished business to take care of. I don't want to jeopardize you while I look for my place in this world. You need to take care of yourself. Keep out of danger. Perhaps there is some way, some unfathomable way we can still see each other eventually. Such a thing must exist, surely.
You don't like my ugliness.
So I refuse to call this farewell. Just until next time.
She's saying I'm ugly now. No.
Since the nether brain fell, you have continued to evolve. Thought is action. Action is thought. Speech is difficult. Your mind has voyaged to the limits of existence, communing with entities unique and wondrous. But something always calls it back. Back to Faerun, back to yourself, back to the beginning. The time before you became what you are. When your tadpole first sang in your mind. You are back there once again when a voice comes to you. Withers, who you know so well. It is time, he says, to meet with your allies once again. You dream of them often. And now you will see if your dreams have become their reality.
Thou wert called here, some from above, some below. For with thine bond, together thou hast kept the wheel of fate spinning when it threatened to halt. Though thou wert drawn far apart in the months after the collapse of the Absolute, tonight, fate renews thy bond once more. Thou shouldst take care to preserve it. It is a great weapon, wielded in the hand of good. Go. Know one another once more.
There's something strange in your old friend's mouth. What is it? A familiar invitation. He wants you to throw the object he's dropped. But it isn't a ball. It's the astral prism. He whines. Less talk, more throw. Scratch barks merrily in something like agreement.
Gods, I must look a mess. I just rolled out from under a pesky ogre when Withers yanked me in. Oh, I didn't mean... Well, I didn't mean that. I just gutted the ogre, not... How about I change the subject before I dig this hole any deeper? You look positively perfect. Not a tentacle out of place. But damn it all, you were too bold a soul to be slinking in shadows, tentacles or not. Your sacrifice hasn't gone forgotten. It's afforded me a life of my own making, slaying the beasts of the coast. The hunt is both duty and thrill. The trolls I've torn open, the ghouls I've cleaved, the stories I've been itching to tell. I don't suppose you'd indulge me. Yes, but just the one, or I'll be yammering all night. You want to hear about the Stegosaurus that bullied Candle Keep, the impossible lich, or the young dragon who crawled out of Deeping Cave? Wizards have a penchant for unusual pets. A flying cat. Delightful. A menagerie of dinosaurs, on the other hand. The wizard in question was called Rylan. Had a half-dozen eggs smuggled into Candlekeep from the jungle. Did you know it takes 3 10 days for a hatchling stegosaurus to reach the size of a cave bear? Rylan sure didn't. Wasn't a month before the place was overrun by rampaging stegos. The great readers dealt with 5 of them without too much trouble. The remaining one, well, young Rylan cast in large on it by mistake. The beast rampaged through the baths, demolished Ogma's temple, and smashed through the east wall. Stegos may not have much taste for meat, but they've got a hell of a temper. Luckily, this one had only clobbered a few farmhouses once I'd caught up. The ground shook as it charged me. I vaulted over the beast and grabbed it by the tail. It bucked and bellowed as I climbed its plates and straddled its head. I plunged a blade into the left eye, straight into the brain. It fell to the ground with a thud. Bet the ravens are still picking at its carcass to this day. I've seen him more than a few times, and he's as proud of me as I am of him. He's leading the city's renewal, opened the gates to all newcomers, rebuilt the council from scratch. And he's back in his element, commanding the flaming fist with brave heart and no shortage of empathy. The likes of Gortash can bend people's minds with a few chosen words. No tadpole needed. Bane's Chosen primed the fist for a war they weren't meant to win. He convinced them there was an assassin hiding in every shadow, that cruelty was the correct answer to crisis. With a few exceptions, fathers pardoned every last fist. If my forgiveness not be Tyr's will, so be it. I shall forgive them all the same. His words, not mine. He still believes in the bow and the blade, but he's teaching the fist a new lesson. I've missed you too. The rush of battles we fought, the heart-to-hearts, the nights around the fire, the comfort of knowing I didn't face the unknown alone. If I had to do it all over again, and I'd rather not, to be clear, I can't imagine not having you at my side. She's kept her leash loose. Though, I've been no stranger to the hells. Every target she's set me on's been a demonic intruder. Tenari assassins who slip into Avernus. Armonites that amass near the Styx. My next mark's the most challenging yet. Or so she says. I don't know much more. Only that it's no demon, but a devil. She's playing a game. I don't know what it is or how she plans to win, but I can tell you this much. I'd fall on my own blade and join the blood war in an instant should Zariel's hell-touched fingers stretch towards the coast. And as long as I'm more useful as a warlock, that's not a risk Mazora would take. Go on, the night's young. You shouldn't waste a moment of it. Or waste a single drop of wine for that matter. I plan on downing half a bottle myself. Oops, did I say half a bottle? I meant half a dozen.
It's a lovely little gathering.
No traps, please. One day I'll catch a break.
A word, please?
It's
Very,
fine
very well met. I am a magical projection of Gale of Waterdeep. And if you see this manifestation, that means I have prematurely perished. Alas, on this occasion I appear to have been erased from this plane in both soul and substance. So the usual protocol for revivification cannot be followed. I am, however, available for the duration of this spell to assist with the tying of any loose ends related to my recent departure from mortality. Quite the opposite. My funeral protocol runs to several hours of riveting speeches, tributes, and instructions as to the beneficiaries of my various wizarding sundries. As I am unable to detect any trace of my existence in reach of mortal magic, however, such a protocol would, in this instance, be destined to fail. However, on behalf of my creator, I wish to make abundantly clear that my death was an unfortunate accident, and in no way related to any attempted usurpation of the reigning divinities of the day. Retrieving the crown from the muddy floor of the Chionthar was surprisingly straightforward, if a little damp. I recall standing on the riverside, the icy chill of Netherese metal in my hands, and then nothing. Gale of Waterdeep was gone. And so was I, until Withers kindly summoned me here to perform my final task. I have been entrusted with the delivery of a letter, to be given to one who cared most for me in life. I hope these words do something to ease the tragedy of my untimely and honestly, quite unexpected passing. With that, I'm afraid my spell is waning. Is there anything else you need of me before I blink out of existence? To think I believed godhood was worth losing all this.
Oh, right. You. Hello.
What the hell are you?
Yes, I'm certain it is. As for you, well, I've heard congratulations are in order. You helped Mr. Dicarios save Baldur's Gate from the Absolute, isn't that right? And you made significant sacrifices to your well-being by the looks of things. I can almost feel Gale here. Among his friends, in you, some part of him remains, doesn't it? A crackling in the air, isn't it? That flare of magic and mischief. Oh, what I
wish someone
wouldn't
could
give to
change me back.
snuggle up on his lap one more time. Just once would do. Oh, I couldn't possibly. Unless, well, Perhaps it's not a terrible idea. Gale would be quite pleased to know we've made friends, wouldn't he?
Now let me eat its brain. I want to eat its brain. Give me it.
Perhaps you'd be willing to come meet Gale's mother sometime? She misses him so. And I know it would do her heart a world of good to discuss her son with someone who knew him as he was. Jolly good. I'll tell Mrs. Dekarios to be expecting you. Oh, she'll be delighted. Things just haven't been the same without himself cluttering up the place. Enjoy your party, dear. I've heard you quite deserve a celebration. Fine night. Very fine indeed.
All my favorite people in one place. Not to mention all my favorite
Ah,
wines.
my dear friend, it's been an age, has it not? You're looking, well. Our skeletal friend will be very pleased to see I found my way here, despite my invitation getting lost in the post. Busy as ever. Better that than the reverse, wouldn't you say? Every major publishing house on the Sword Coast has been vying for my upcoming book on the subject of our adventures together. I've gotten quite good at replicating your signature, so you needn't even bother with the release form. You might help me with the title, though. I'm considering The Hero and Me.
Zoe's conniving.
What do you think? Who says you're the titular hero, hmm? Oh, I jest, probably. But believe you me, I couldn't have written a word without you.
Always a conniver.
Perhaps, once the manuscript is finished, you'd even be willing to write a foreword? Or better yet, I'll write a draft and you can just sign your name. Better still, I'll sign it for you. Hmm? Ah, your success really has been wonderful for my reputation. But you mustn't let me hog your attention all night, my friend. You've many friends to chat to, and I'd love to listen in.
Yeah, I only see like two in the place.
Oh, but I wish he were here.
I don't see anybody else. Oh, there's Shadowheart.
Scratch yaps a request you know well. Fetch.
Starting to wonder if you'd show up. Honestly, so have I. Oh, come here, will you? It's been forever. feel a little more substantial than before. Less camping and scrounging off the land, I take it. Same. In fact, I found a nice meadow not far from where I live now. Every now and again, I'll spend the night there. For old time's sake. I'm glad you seem well. Trudy. I had no doubt. But I'm glad to hear you say it all the same. Must I? You presume a great deal. I'm joking. Of course I want to know. Tell me all. Well, you needn't count me amongst the panicky. I know what you did for all of us. And I'll never forget it. Coming from me, that's saying something. Hopefully, these meetups will become a regular occurrence. It's not that I miss the tadpoles, but at least it brought us together. Now we've got to make the extra effort ourselves. I'm sure we will, but let's be proactive about it all the same. We're more than capable. After all, we've faced down bigger threats than wrangling together a few social calendars. Don't be a stranger.
Let's see.
That's such a grand party, is it?
Thou searchest for the strongest warrior amongst thine band, Lae'zel, who ascended to the stars. And now she is gone. It is as she wished. It is as all Githyanki wish. I asked thee once, what is the value of a single life? For many of the Gith, it can be measured. A single evening's supper for the Lich Queen. To be ascended is to be consumed. Vlaakith's hunger has known the heads of 50,000 of her subjects. But Lae'zel was, perhaps, greater than the rest. I know not where Lae'zel of Kalir is. I cannot sense her presence. Perhaps thou could. Know this. Her courage never faltered, her soul never waned. She accomplished all she e'er sought out. If she had fallen in battle, she would never have known regret. If she'd been killed in her duty, she would have known herself true. If Vlaakith claimed her, it was Lae'zel's honor to be claimed. What indeed? Prick up thy ears and listen. The balance of the world restored. The balance of these lives, mortal and otherwise, brought to account. Hear me, thou heroes, wastrels, friends. I have waited long to tell you these words. It is over. For now. Thou played thy part in weaving the fabric of fate itself, but for every thread you sewed, so did the gods unravel another. Sleep, rest, revel, but be ready. For thou mayst yet be needed. Until we meet again, I wish thee every possible fortune, health, wealth, love, and above all, problems worth solving. To you.
Oh, I can skip through this? There are a lot of people involved with this, huh? I guess every country has their own people for the languages, right? A little bit of aging on a lot of these guys, but like Data, he's a little fat. There's a lot of productions and planning and all this in this game.
There thou art, the dead three. Thy faces gods, thy actions barely worthy of the name. Didst truly believe thy ploy would succeed? Didst believe I would not notice? Thou sought to bolster thy strength by taking away the souls of mortals. But souls vanish when their hosts become mind flayers. Didst think the other gods would not notice? Gods thou may be, yet thou hast proven thyself fools. Everyone. The supplication of Bane, the whimper of Baal, the death mule of Merkel. Felled by mortals, I overestimated thee. They did not. Vermin, away. Thou wilt trouble us no more.
I owe you a debt of gratitude. You were the spark of ambition that rekindled Gale's ambitions after Mystra had so cleverly put them to rest. And you are the reason he survived the appetites of the tadpole for so long. I will admit I was angry when you failed to deliver the crown to me. Those who break a deal with this devil do not usually live to tell the tale. All is forgiven, though. The crown came to me as promised, and the method of delivery was spectacular. Gale harnessed its power, as Carsus once did, and he too fell into ruin. He was halfway to heaven when the orb detonated, tearing him apart. All that remained were ashes, blood, tears, and the crown. Always the crown. The decimation of Gale did not even leave a mark on it. Ambition, courage, hope. They all burn you in the end. I will bend the crown to my will now, and use its power to bring the 9 hells under my command. When that is done, I will need new worlds to conquer. It won't be long before I come knocking at your door. Ta-ta for now.
Alrighty then. I gotta do some Red Dead Redemption. I'll be back.